Hello and welcome. We're going to get into another video. Today's video, we're going to talk about the top teams in the Halloween Cup. So Halloween Cup is a great league format we have this time, and basically only Poison, Bug, Ghost, Fairy, and Dark are allowed. Everything else is actually not allowed. Does that mean that the Fairy type will be dominant here because it destroys the Dark and resists the Bug? No, technically, usually the Pokemon that are extremely dominant here is actually the Poison plus any other type. So Poison Dark will be insanely good. Unless there is like some freak type of a Pokemon that doesn't care about any types. What am I talking about? Like something like Azu that still even against the poison has a great play. So what are the best Pokemons in this cup? Well, those are the best Pokemons in this cup. And basically, if you take a look at PvP above me, it says that Clodsire is the best Pokemon, followed by Carbink, followed by Nidoqueen, with Mudslap, as far as I'm right? And then there is Corsola, and then there is a Klefki. So what can you do if you don't have a Klefki? You use Mewile, okay? Don't be like, oh my god, I can't play this cup, I wish I have a Klefki. Just use Mewile, it's literally the same. I think except that Klefki has Foul Play and Mewile doesn't, something like that. But you know, you have to work with your options. There is also Rodriguez. You run Rock Tomb and you run Brutal Swing. Don't run Shadow Ball and complain about the Pokemon being bad. You need a Brutal Swing so you can become spammy. And then there is Caesar, there is Shadow Nidoqueen, there is Shadow Sable Guy, there is a Drapion, there is Dusclops, Caesar, Dusknoir, and King Gambite. So King Gambite has actually a decent play in this cup. But the Pokemon I want to make a shout out here is like Grimer, Shadow, Kanto. Shadow, Kanto, Grimer. What makes a poison type this dominant? It has Mudslap. It's the poison that beats other poison. It actually destroys other poison. It's the poison type Pokemon that destroys all of other poisons. It's the poison that beats the steel. There is no other Pokemon that beat the other poison that beats the steel, right? Well, technically Clodsire can do that, but Shadow, Kanto, Grimer, which is something I don't have myself, is extremely decent. There is also something like Malamar. I don't think Malamar has a good play. Frostlass was good at one point, but then it got a huge setback because everything has become way better. The Crustle has a play. It's just an RPS Pokemon. People use a Crustle with something like Clodsire, Crustle, Carbink, something like this. You have to use it in ABB type of formats. Salazzle has a play, but it loses to so many Pokemons, which make it extremely difficult to use. Jellicent, I've never liked this Pokemon in this cup, but I remember that Inadequancence at some point made a popular team with this Pokemon. Same as Galvantula, I don't think it's good, but some people made it work. Weezing is probably the best safe swap. It's a poison, yes. It loses to the Mud Slappers, yes. But it always has a potential, you know, like into hard countering something in the back. That's like the strength about it. Greninja is going to be extremely popular. In fact, I've seen lots of people safe swapping in Greninja in this cup because technically the fairies here aren't fairies. The fairies here are like Carbink and Powder Snow, Alolan Ninetale. I mean, there is Azu here and there, but Azu for a Greninja is not that bad. You can just 2-shield and swap out eventually. Some anti-meta options. I think this guy is actually good. Whatever his name is with Dark Lariato. And then there is the Crocodile. Crocodile is not bad, actually. It has a play. The chest piece is playable. I've seen people trying to make a Great League Genesect work, but it's just too frail, and Caesar can do everything better. So we talked about the Pokemons. Let's just talk about the top teams. So the first team, I do think that this is going to be like the go-to team for everyone, where like everyone just going to pick those three and call it a team. The problem with this team is that it's weak to Greninja, it's weak to Mudslap, so it's difficult to make it work to the point where like you can literally just swap Carbink for an Azu, and then you will have probably the best bulky team. With like if you need like an easy team to play with, pick Moltres, Azu, Clodsire, and call it a team, and just try to do your best. Now the team kind of like struggles a bit into something like Fortress, which was the Pokemon I actually hit Legend with last season. If you want to fix this team, you could also add something like Mandibuzz here. And there is also Mudslap Nidoqueen as an option, but the team itself is kind of weak to the opposing Clodsire. Or you could say it's weak to Mudshot Clodsire. As far as Nidoqueen, you run Mud Slap, Stone Edge, Poison Fang, okay? You don't run Earth Power, you don't run Poison Jab, you run Mud Slap, Stone Edge, Poison Fang. That's the moveset for this season. As far as Golisopod, you actually run Fury Cutter, X Scissor, and Aqua Jet. Why Fury Cutter over Shadow Claw? I don't know. That's what PvPoke is saying. Now, as far as what team will I be running, it's actually going to be two of these three Pokemons. I'm going to run Klefki for sure. And I'm debating running Fortress or Greninja as my second Pokemon. And then the third, probably going to be this team. And then I will change one of those two to fit with whatever people are using. Because remember, it is how the meta look like. It is how people will play against this meta. And then you have to come up with a play and a Pokemon that can, has a play into everything that you will see. You might not be able to, but, sometimes you can rely on something like happening during the battle, such as opponent baiting, you calling the bait, you shielding and stuff like that, you making a crazy catching on a Pokemon that double resists that. I remember that some people were like, some people hit Legend with Golurk, and I didn't want to sleep on it. So I was like, okay, let me just put Golurk in a team. But I think like some of the best teams for Golurk is like you have to cover the Dark type Pokemons. So the best anti-Dark type Pokemon in this cup is actually, as you can see, it's Greninja. And there is a Clodsire as a third. Now, Fury Cutter Caesar actually makes this team kind of and make a problem into this team. There is also Azu, which is a huge problem to this team. But usually you just swap to Clodsire, or you can even go to Greninja, play the 2 shield, and then eventually catch a player off on what's his face, on Clodsire. Now, as far as the best Shadow Claw user, you don't need Aegis. You run Rock Tomb and Brutal Swing. Probably going to be the best lead in this cup, arguably. And then as a cover, you can actually run Wiggly. I know that Charm isn't as popular in this league because most of the fairies here are actually not Charmers. I'm talking about Klefki, Mewile, and Carbink and Azu. None of them are the Charmers, right? But I remember that Charm was rebalanced, and now you can just spam Charm Icy Wind in this cup, and it's actually not a bad idea. And King Gambite, you can run Metal Sound, Foul Play, and Iron Head. And now, Caesar is the Pokemon I hit Legend with 2 years ago. I remember that. I used Caesar and Dragulge together. And then the third is like something, I think I remember I used Azu. But I was like, I don't think Azu is as relevant anymore in the Halloween Cup. But I always say Azu is no longer relevant in the Halloween Cup. And then I get surprised that people are actually still using Azu because it's just the safest Pokemon to use in this cup. If you are into Drapion is still decent. I mean, it's still a good Pokemon to use. It's still the Pokemon that can hit the ground type with super effective Aqua Tail, can hit the Crunch for like a chance to debuff. But I don't agree with running a Drapion and this guy together. I would rather just run here something like Fortress, to be honest. As far as Greninja, Azu, you could run something like Wormadam. And remember that Wormadam has Bug Bite. Bug Bite is buffed, so here you don't run Confusion, you actually run Bug Bite. A Pokemon that I tried and I actually enjoyed is a Dragapult. I think a Dragapult has no play in this cup, in the open leagues, but it has a play in this cup, especially if you can have it switch locked into Azu, or they swap Azu into you. Because remember, you outpace them. Once you land the Shadow Ball, you can literally just 2-shield and farm the Azu all the way down. Dragulge is still decent. I think they buffed the Dragulge as well. It has Aqua Tail, Outrage. What did they buff it? Did they give it a Scald or something? I think they gave it Acid. Sorry, you run Acid. You don't run the Dragon Tail, by the way. You run Acid. As far as Wheezing team, you could run Wheezing with Wormadam. Wormadam needs Bug Bite. Don't run Confusion. And a Moltres as a third. I do believe that this is like all you need to know about this team. I remember there was a team from Home Slice Henry was like Toxapex, Drapion, with like, you just lead Toxapex, try to win the lead. If you lose the lead, you just go to Drapion, and then you still don't shield, and then you eventually just 2-shield Kanto, Shadow, Grimer. Literally just 2-shield this, and those are just to stall the clock and like just dance around and to annoy the opponent. So that's pretty much all you need to know about the Halloween Cup. So thanks so much everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.